Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of my show, which I'm calling Mythstified. It's like if you took Mystified and then put a TH after the Y. I know, it's very clever, thank you. I'll be your host, Jake Lang, and I'm here joined with my special guest, Maggie Vincent.
Hello! I'm excited for this.
I'm really excited too, because I asked Maggie at the end of... What's today? Today's Monday? At the end of Friday's show, if she would be on, and we're going to talk about the beginning of the universe in Greek mythology. So, I'm so ready.
Ready. What you got for me, Jake?
Okay, so you're going to be incredibly surprised how it starts. It starts with nothing. There was nothing there in the beginning before anything was created. I know, it's nuts. So this nothingness is called chaos. Very spooky.
Wow.
And it's literally just this like big yawning nothingness. Imagine nothing, and that's what it is. And then,
Imagine nothing? There you have it.
So, and then Mother Earth emerges from the nothingness. How? I don't know. She just feels like it, and
she woke up one day and was like,
yeah. She woke up
feel
one
like
day
I'm
and
gonna
was
do
like,
this
yeah,
today.
I feel like existing. So she decided to exist, and her name is Gaia. I'm sure you know her from the Percy Jackson books.
I do, yes I do.
Yeah, she's the overarching main baddie that, you're like, oh my gosh, Kronos, and they're like, oh my god, Gaia.
It's basically like, oh my god, Kronos, and then it's just like, just kidding, there's something worse.
Just kidding, it was all a little trick. So she just emerges into the abyss, which is a part of the underworld, which really doesn't get talked about a lot because, there's not much there because it's called the abyss.
Yeah.
And she does another thing where she just manifests herself a husband, which is Oranos, which is what I'm going to call him. He has two names. The other name is Uranus. I don't want to be saying Uranus for the entire broadcast, so we're gonna go with Oranos.
That's fair.
And then they have a bunch of kids. That ends up being 6 males and 6 females, which are going to be our first Titans. So now we have them.
Nice. The first Titans. I didn't know there was 12.
Yes, 6 male, 6 female. And then after that, they were like, okay, we're done. And they made a cosmic decree that no more Titans are going to be born. So then that just doesn't happen.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Lovely.
Are you mystified yet?
I am mystified.
Eventually, after existing, before Gaia goes into her deep slumber, she's like, I don't like my husband anymore. Hey, Kronos, my favorite child in the run to the litter, have this scythe made out of me and go take care of him. So Kronos cuts him up into a bunch of little pieces and throws them across the earth. And some of these bits land in the ocean. You know Aphrodite?
Yes.
She's from the bits.
Oh, really?
From the bits.
I didn't. That is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
From Titan blood and flesh. And actually, he's a protogenist, not a Titan. I misspoke. But yeah, she's like, oh yeah, all this stuff in the ocean mixed with sea foam. Like, beauty goddess. That makes logical sense, right?
Totally.
Everybody loves sea foam. So, Kronos becomes the ruler of the Titans because he was the one who slew his father. And Gaia's like, oh my god, I love you so much. You're like the best. And so he claims his throne in his big ol', it's like a pitch black, like, castle. Sorry, I was struggling for that word.
Castle,
is how it's
castle.
described. It's very intimidating. And he takes a wife, which is Rhea. And this is how the gods are born. And he has a bunch of kids. However, there is a prophecy that his kids will eventually usurp him. So he's like, oh, I'm scared. I like my power. I don't want them to do that. So he, one by one, swallows up his children as they're born. He's like, oh, look at this little baby. And
Yeah.
he just eats them.
So that's why he did it. He didn't want his power taken away.
Right, yeah, there was a prophecy.
See, I didn't know there was a prophecy that said that his children were basically going to, like, dethrone him.
Yeah, it was Oranos. He was cursing him because he got overthrown by his children. It's a whole thing where it's like, the protogenists were paranoid about being usurped by the Titans, and the Titans are paranoid by being usurped by the gods, and the gods are paranoid about being usurped by the demigods.
By the demigods,
children.
it's like domino effect, but I don't know if that's exactly what I'm looking for.
It's a generational curse, I guess you could
that's
say.
that's
Which
more what I'm looking for.
I started reading the 4th book, Battle of the Labyrinth, again.
Oh my god, that was my
I finished the
favorite
3rd one. I was like, how would demigods literally even like overthrow the gods? And then they sacrifice the cow serpent, the I forgot what it's called. It starts with an O.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then they gain the power to usurp the gods. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was wondering if that was like a plot device that Roran made up or something, but I don't know. I found it cool. But also, don't kill cow sea serpents. They're really cute, I promise. So,
Noted.
Yeah, back to the whole being paranoid about your kids usurping you thing. Personally, can't relate, but I'm sure it was very scary. So yeah, Kronos goes and he just swallows his children whole. And because they're immortal and Titans are huge, they kind of just like sit around in his stomach and grow up in there. Until Rhea gets tired of this and she goes, this sucks.
And
Kronos, are you going to eat my... Yeah, sorry.
That's his wife.
Right, Rhea's his wife.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's like, I want my children back, basically?
Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe... Because she keeps going to Kronos and he's like, okay, you swallowed the oldest. You're good now, right? And he's like, yep. Has another baby, takes the baby. He's like, maybe not, and just like keeps eating them.
Did he have more children than just Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades?
He birthed the main 12, I thought.
Because, like, those of you who've read Percy Jackson or even watched the Percy Jackson movies, I haven't finished the show yet, so don't come at me.
Okay, so the ones that Rhea had, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. So, what, the main 6?
Okay.
And then
okay.
The other 6 out of the main 12 are children of them, I'd have to assume. Oh, and Aphrodite. She was Seafoam.
Yeah, she was. Don't forget about Aphrodite, guys.
Yeah, don't forget about the Seafoam lady. Yeah, so Rhea has her last child, Zeus, her last godchild. Not godchild. Child that was a god. And she is like, I can't do this. So, okay, hey, baby Zeus, I'm going to send you off to this mountain with a bunch of nymphs and naiads, and they're going to take care of you and feed you magical goat milk. And he goes, I'm a baby, so okay. She goes to Kronos and like, hey, this is your new kid. It's not a rock. And he goes, wow, this sure does look like a rock. And she's like, I promise it's not.
It's
so
not a rock. It's a boulder.
Other way around. It's not just a boulder. It's
a rock. Anyways.
Yeah. So basically, Zeus grows old. He's trained by these nymphs, and in combat, in like herbs and stuff, all the things a young god needs to thrive. And alcohol making, that too. So he goes to the.
Is he still on the mountain?
Yes. So that's where he kind of spends like his first informative years.
Okay.
Is on the mountain learning things. So after enough time, Rhea goes, hey Zeus, the Titans are gonna have a big old party. And she's like, you should go there because you know things about like making good nectar and ambrosia, and which are, for those of you who don't know, the foods of the gods. Nectar is the drink, ambrosia is the food. And he goes and he's like, okay, hey, cool, Kronos, you're not my dad and I'm not your child. Can I be like a server here? And he goes, yup. So he sneaks in and uses his like skills of herbalism and whatnot to make a very not good for the tummy, a tummy rumbler, if you would, of a nectar. And he feeds it to Kronos and all of his baddies. I call all the Titans like bad guys, but they're really not. They were just kind of like ruling the world at that point, and they had a huge banquet. Why are you looking at me like that, Asher? Why are you looking at me like that? So he, Kronos, ends up vomiting all of the mini godchildren that were in his stomach.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So now they're in the world, and they get out of the slimy depths of the stomach. So, and now they're out. And the way that the gods are categorized by age is backwards. So Zeus is technically is usually considered the wisest and the oldest, followed by Poseidon, followed by Hades being the youngest. Just talking about the big three.
Okay.
Hades was the first child. He was swallowed first, so he's the
Wow,
oldest.
really?
Poseidon is still the middle child. And Zeus is actually the youngest.
So Hades and Zeus were switched.
Right, basically, because of the way they were vomited out. Hades was in there first, he got out last.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then this is when the gods go, oh, we really didn't like that. We hate you for swallowing us, storing us in your stomach, Dad. We don't like that. So.
Right, because, who would?
Right. yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want to be digested by, stomach acid for 24 hours a day, 365. For hundreds of years. I feel like that'd be rather painful, but I don't know. They're immortals. So
yeah,
this is when we reach the time. It has a really funny name. It's called the Titanomachy. Try to pronounce it. You can't.
Say it again.
Titanomachy.
Titanomachy.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
So this is the time in which the gods decide that they want to overthrow the Titans. So the prophecy, or rather the curse, comes to fruition. And Kronos is like, oh no, I'm getting beaten. And he's like, I hope I don't die like my dad. And he dies like his dad. Zeus takes the scythe and cuts him up into 1,000,000 pieces. But this time, instead of casting him over the earth and back into the sky, he casts him into Tartarus.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's a part of the Percy Jackson.
This is weird to say, but I love Tartarus. Like the way it's described, especially in the books.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool when Percy did have to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Was he with Grover and Annabeth at the time?
He was with Annabeth.
He was
I
with
don't think
Annabeth.
He was with Grover.
Grover wasn't.
I don't think Grover would have survived.
Oh no, he definitely would not have survived if he went down there.
He barely made it out of the labyrinth. He's not going to make it out of Tartarus.
I'm gonna have to reread these books because I can't remember all the details.
Well, no, it's just because satyrs don't like to be underground. Asher.
Yeah.
He's saying that hating on Grover. No, we're just stating.
I'm not hating on Grover. I love Grover.
We love Grover. #1 Grover fan over here. But actually, Tartarus is a protogenes, which is a primordial god. So I don't remember exactly because this was way late into the books. So they're literally on a sleeping god. And if you read the book, it's The Sun, the Star by Rick Riordan. It's with Nico and his boyfriend Will. They go down to Tartarus in search of Nyx, who's the goddess of darkness and bad things and not happiness.
Right,
yeah. Because she's like, oh, we have Bob captive, who's the Titan that they threw into the, what was it? It wasn't the Styx, was it?
Probably.
I think it was the Styx that takes away memories.
Yeah, that's usually where. Yeah.
Yeah. So she holds him hostage to bait Nico.
Well, because even in the original books, when they are down in Tartarus and they're talking about it, it's you can hear the snoring and it describes that.
Right. Yeah. They can feel the land.
Yeah, and they can feel it moving.
Right,
so
right.
it really they don't say that. Yeah, it's a god specifically, but it basically. What's the word I'm looking for?
They do say that in the book, and I had never really thought about that. I was like, oh, this place is just really magical and evil, so it's alive with the spirit of evil, but it is literally a sleeping primordial god. Yeah. Which is nuts.
When I found that out, I was like, oh my god. Yeah. Pun intended.
Yeah, I don't know. I find the place really cool. And in my brain, I would I'd be fine in Tartarus. I would not be fine in Tartarus, but I like to think I would be.
Yeah, even though basically, spoiler, Percy and Annabeth basically almost died in Tartarus.
But they don't. They're alive.
They don't. They're well and great. But I was like, this is kind of cool.
I know, right? A place that's actually literally doesn't even have to try to kill you. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Yeah. I like it. Anyways, moving on. Tartarus is awesome. We love it. Long story short, after a bunch of battles between the gods and the Titans, the Olympians win. How did they do this? Well, the Titans had been enslaving Gaia's least... How do I put this? Ugly kids, the unwanteds. Ouranos really hated them. Gaia really loved them because Ouranos was like, oh, these guys are ugly and malformed and gross. I don't like them. And Gaia was like, they're so beautiful. They're my children. I love them. And so she basically goes to the gods because she's above the Titans technically, right? She goes, I think my titans have done wrong. So go and free the Cyclopses and the 100-handed ones. I'm not gonna try and pronounce their actual name in the
Oh my gosh, their actual name is crazy.
Okay, let me look up their name.
Did they mention that in
They
Percy
do.
Jackson at some point?
They're the Hecatoncheires.
Yeah, there's no way I would be able to say that.
Yeah,
no.
so there are 3 of them, and along with the Cyclopses, or actually, sorry, not along with the Cyclopses. The Cyclopses are great forge masters.
Yeah.
And so they go to the 3 main dudes, which are going to be of course, the 3 guys that are heading it up. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. Hades gets the Helm of Invisibility.
Yep.
Poseidon gets his trident.
Yep.
And Zeus gets big ol' lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah. I love them.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Out of those 3 items, which one do you want?
Ooh. I'd say... I don't know if the trident specifically does anything.
What does the helmet do exactly? I don't remember.
Okay, so obviously the helmet. Jennings just said
Jennings,
protection.
it's
Thank
a
you,
helmet.
Jennings. Yes, it's
Thank you,
yeah,
Jennings, so much for that.
It might be a little bit of a pretty design.
yeah.
And a
okay,
pretty
so
design.
basically, the trident enhanced Poseidon's powers.
Yeah.
Is what I'm looking at here. So I'd say I'd go with the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
I go with the lightning bolt 100% because I can use it anywhere. Like I don't need a source of water. The Helm of Invisibility. What is it actually called? What is Hades' helm called?
Isn't it called like the?
It's literally just called in classical mythology. It's just the cap of invisibility, but we're gonna call it the helm because that sounds more intimidating. So
Sounds
basically-
cooler.
Yeah, it sounds cooler. Yeah. And so the helmet, what it can do, obviously, it can turn you invisible.
Right.
And you can also use it to spread like an intense fear throughout your enemies.
That's what
whenever
it
you
was.
use it.
I knew.
Yeah, you can
I
send out,
knew
like,
there
a
was
wave
something
of-
else that it could do.
Right, you can send out like. A
I think
wave
I'd
of
pick
fear.
I think I'd pick the helm.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, one being invisible, awesome. I don't know how much I'd use the whole fear thing, but
But you just want to creep around on people?
well, this is gonna sound sad, but sometimes I don't like being seen. So if I just
You know what?
disappear,
That's fair. Fair, actually. Yeah, I feel that.
I'm
I
not
feel
sad
like-
or anything. Just sometimes I just want to be alone, and when people like talk to me, I'm just like, no, just leave me alone. If I'm invisible, no one knows I'm there.
I feel like with the trident, the only cool thing I could do with it. So have you ever seen Avatar?
Bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces. Do you
I've
know
seen the
about-
whole thing a long
You
time
know
ago.
about
but-
like blood bending? Waterbenders like
Yes,
control the
yeah.
water in people to control
Yeah.
them. I think like that's what I'd do with the trident. And,
I mean,
like,
that'd
that's
be
the only
pretty
thing I
cool,
could
though.
do. It'd be pretty cool. So that's why it's going at my number 2, and then Helm of Invisibility because I'm not a creep like you apparently at like number 3. Like
I'm not a creep.
Literally, Hades used it all the time to like creep on like.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna use it to creep on people. I'm gonna use
Says
it just.
every creep ever.
Shut up, Jake. You too, Asher.
Oh, I forgot
We're
to mention.
still fighting.
Our lovely producer for our show today.
We're
is,
beefing.
Asher Vanderwood.
And
He's,
he was on my show on Friday.
He was, and if you tuned into the beginning of the broadcast, he was throwing some shade at Mr. Jennings. So you were throwing.
You
shade.
lie.
You were showing.
There's
you were throwing,
literally proof.
you were shading all over the place.
But yeah, Asher and I are still beefing because
Newsies.
yeah,
Every other person here because she likes the movie better.
that's because the first thing I saw was the movie. Honestly, if I saw the Broadway first, I probably would have liked that more than the movie.
You're just so biased.
I'm not biased. Anyways, more
Okay.
Greek mythology.
Right. Greek
Go away.
mythology. One last note. I did side with Asher during the program, and I was like sending him little cards to help him win. I haven't seen either version, so I'm completely impartial, but I just like seeing Maggie mad because it's funny.
Thanks, Jake. Thank you so much, Jake.
Yeah, of course, no problem. So,
Oh my God.
Okay, back to all of the things with the things doing the things, as one does.
Yes.
So the gods have won, and they have their symbols of power.
Yeah.
So they build Olympus
Yes.
On a different mountain, on Mount Olympus.
Not on the other mountain we were talking about earlier.
It
Different
was-
mountain.
So okay, the mountain which the Titans built their temple, castle, big old monument thing.
Whatever you want to call it.
Right, exactly. Was Mount Tam. I
Yeah.
don't know the full name for it, but I was just reading the Percy Jackson book, the third book, and it mentions it's in there, so that's how I know that.
Yeah. I need
yeah.
to reread those.
So now Zeus is plagued with now that they've won, he's like, oh, I can settle down and be chill and rule the earth.
Yeah.
Except, oh no, guess what's back? The generational curse.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Yeah. So he has a wife named Metis, Metis, Matisse. I don't know.
However you want to pronounce it.
No, Midas is not the same as Metis. Midas is not.
M-I-T-A-S.
No.
No.
Metis, I'm pretty sure, is a Titan. And basically, was she a nymph? I don't.
Either way.
Zeus's wife, Metis. There's a prophecy about her.
So I just
And-
want to mention this
yes.
about prophecies, and I always find it so
They
funny.
suck.
Yes, and you can't get away from it. You can't, like, I don't know why, like, every, like, good job, Jake. You just,
Thank you. Sorry for those of you who are,
if you're not,
listening.
if you were
I
just,
just spilled red Gatorade on myself.
it was very entertaining, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But anyways, they never, like, even, you would have thought that, like, after, like, because, you know, demigods, like, once they get to the camp, they should know most of the history. So it's like
I don't know if not that they
should know some of it.
Should they? Yes. Do they? Probably not.
But it's like every time prophecy. Well, I'm gonna change the prophecy. You can't, because guess what? It's gonna happen
It's
no matter
literally
what
the
you do.
future. You can't change it as much as you want.
And
to.
even if you change your mind that the prophecy says like you will at one point do this, and you're like, well, I won't.
You're gonna.
You're still gonna end up doing it, even if it's 30 years from then.
Right. And one thing that, like, I get it because it's like aimed more towards like teenagers and kids, and they're not gonna know the mythology unless they're incredibly invested in it.
Yeah.
But like Percy Jackson as a demigod, like, doesn't know half of the monsters he's going up against, and they're like lore. I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
Well, and a lot of the demigods, a good portion of them get to the camp when
Mm-hmm.
they're younger. He was like pretty young. He was 11.
He was 12.
He was 12,
12,
when
yeah.
he got to the camp.
Uh-huh.
So it's like he was on the older side. So like no one really, and he went straight into a quest. So like he knew nothing.
Right. But then I'm like, and I get it. He's got like the ADHD and
But so does
dyslexia.
every demigod.
But so does every demigod, and there's still most of them are still, well, some of them actually are more well versed in him than like monster weak points and actual myths. And like reading the book for the first time, because I was a weird kid, I was obsessed with Greek mythology. And in the third book they go to the Hesperides, I believe. Zoe Nightshade is one. It's one of Atlas's 5 daughters.
oh,
Sorry,
I know what you're talking about.
Word made up a 5th, but there were 4.
Yeah.
His 4 daughters, or maybe there were 5. I haven't actually double checked that. I assumed Warden made that up. Anyways, not important. So they go to Atlas's garden, where the apples of immortality are, the golden
Yep.
ones that Zeus gave to Hera,
Yeah.
as a wedding gift.
I forgot
and
about that.
Put
Yeah,
the garden, put the dragon, laid on there,
Yeah.
and yeah, so they go there, and they're all like, okay, I wonder, where are we? And it's like, how did you not figure out that like Zoe Nightshade was not a daughter of Atlas, like, before you had the dream about it? I don't get it. And they were like, oh my gosh, what's going to be the big challenge at the top of this mountain? It's Atlas's mountain. You hold
Yeah.
the world. That's his thing.
Literally.
I feel like people are so dumb sometimes in the books, and I'm like, it's like basic Greek myth. Like, you should know.
Well, and I read them when I was a little older too.
Mhm.
Older meaning a year and a half ago. And and I like the whole time I'm like, they're literally on their way to his
and they don't
mountain where
realize
he
it.
holds the world. So I'm just sitting here like, someone's gonna have to end up holding the world. I don't know which one it's going to be,
It's Percy. He's the main character.
but I figured it was gonna be Percy. But
Mhm.
then Annabeth helped out a little bit too,
yeah.
which was cool. That was a cool little story.
Okay, Percy Jackson rant aside, still love the books. Sometimes the characters are dumb, even though they live in the world of Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Moving on. Back to Metis. So the prophecy about Metis is that she will have a god that will basically be birthed and be greater than Zeus. That's Athena. However, he doesn't know this at the time. So he's like, oh my god, it's going to be a stronger son. He's going to cut me up. He's going to usurp me. And he goes, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to pull a Kronos and I'm going to swallow my wife. He just eats her.
I'm gonna pull a Kronos.
Yep.
That's
so
hilarious.
now Metis gives birth inside of Zeus, and Athena, being the goddess of wisdom she is, climbs up into his brain and starts pounding on his skull like crazy. Hephaestus takes his hammer and a little chisel, pops his skull open, and out pops Athena, and she's in full war gear, which is really funny to me. So,
It's kind
speaking
of awesome.
of that, we have a song coming up right here, which is going to be about the goddess we just talked about, Athena. Okay, guys, welcome back. That was Athena. So, I think we're just gonna round off the beginning of the world and talk about some of the heroes and whatnot that I've selected. Yeah, so to end off the story, it's really simple. 3 gods, they each get 3 domains. Zeus, because he goes, I'm the oldest and the strongest, I get to choose first. He chooses the sky, because of course he does. Poseidon goes, you know what? Water's pretty cool and I've got a trident, so he chooses the sea. And Hades gets the last domain, which is the underworld, which, frankly, I don't think he really minded, because he got to be away from everybody else.
That's fair.
I
Understandable.
I think I'm a Hades at heart, I'm not gonna lie. So, this next myth that we're gonna talk about, I was recently reminded of it by doing my playlist. And I was doing a look into the song Talk by Hozier. And I found out it was actually about Orpheus, which I'll explain the story in a second if you're not aware. It really made sense to me. So after the myth, we're gonna play it for you guys, and you guys can hear it. It's a really good song. So the myth of Orpheus. This is a guy who joined the expedition of the Argonauts. He was very critical in basically every part of the adventures they had. He staved off the sirens by playing his own music. He was a very talented musician. That was his thing. He was a musician and a singer, and yeah, he was on the Argonauts ship, which, do you know who the Argonauts are? I know there's a mention of them in
Kind
the Percy
of.
Jackson. They were the band of 50 heroes who went with Jason in the ship the Argo
Oh, yeah.
to fetch the Golden Fleece, which is kind of funny because Percy Jackson grabs it with 3 people.
Yeah. He's like Annabeth, Ingrover, and him.
And Clarice.
And
Don't forget
and Clarice.
and her dead person ship.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then later in the books they get the Argo 2, which is Leo's flying dragon ship.
Yeah,
Which I don't
that
know.
was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
I loved that.
Yeah. So Orpheus, he's a very powerful musician. On his return from his adventure, he marries Eurydice, which I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and I can 100% guarantee it, but that's what we're gonna call her. And she was killed by a snake bite because snakes are venomous. I almost said poisonous. That's not correct. Poison is by touch, and venom is by fangs and getting under your skin.
Yeah,
Yep,
into your
fun
bloodstream.
facts.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Orpheus, because he loved his wife so much, as one should, hopefully, he's overcome. He's overcome with grief, and he basically goes down to the underworld to bring his wife back to life. Absolute madman. So, how does he get across? Of course, he has to get across the river through the ferryman Charon.
Yeah,
Not Chiron. That's
Yeah,
the other guy
not
that trains the
Chiron.
heroes. No.
he's the other one. Don't mix those two up because those are
Nope.
two very different.
Charon is like, hey, you got the coin for me? And he's like, yo, fam, I'm not actually dead. Let me play you some sweet tunes. So that's that's enough to convince him. And
Yo, fam.
let me play you some sweet tunes. So he charms him and he brings him down the river to the gates of the underworld where Cerberus lies. Cerberus, the biggest good boy there ever is. He, tears apart souls and he's a very good boy. He literally does the exact same thing. This entire story is about the power of music and love, and I find it really cute and also kind of funny. Because this peppy guy who's overcome with grief. He's griefy and peppy. And he comes down with, I like to imagine him with a banjo to the underworld.
Dude, that's
and
how I was imagining him. Oh my god, that's
he
hilarious.
goes down to the underworld with a banjo and he plays his sick tunes.
This is
And
literally the
everybody's
whole
just like,
time you were talking about that. I'm like, this guy has a banjo,
He has a
100%.
banjo. I think in the myths he's depicted with something close to a banjo.
That's
A banjo's just a mini guitar, right?
pretty much.
Pretty much. So yeah, he goes and he does the exact same thing to Cerberus, and he's like, I'm gonna play you some sweet tunes and give you belly rubs. So he does that and he gets past the front gates.
Those of you who don't know who we're talking about, it's the three-headed dog.
Oh yeah. So that's the
It's the
three-headed,
three-headed
dog,
dog.
that guards the gates to
Yeah.
the underworld and makes sure non-dead people don't get through.
Yes.
Which fun fact, Cerberus kind of fails at that a little bit sometimes.
Just sometimes.
Yeah, just sometimes.
Occasionally.
Like when a griefy peppy dude pulls up with a banjo.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And he goes to Hades and he's like, yo fam, my wife is dead. Listen to how sad I am. So he plays these bunch of grief-filled sick tunes to Hades, and it moves the god of the underworld.
Really?
Yes, it moves him.
Wow.
So he goes, okay, I can't give you this for free, although your sick tunes almost convinced me to. He goes, okay, I'm
should've
going to
just kept
have your
playing.
wife's soul follow you back up through the tunnel back to the mortal realm. However, you cannot turn around and look at her until you're back in the mortal world. And he goes, okay. So they do that.
What?
He makes the, nothing's free with the gods. They always have to have their entertainment, even if they are moved by
So
his
he
griefness.
couldn't look back at his wife
Nope.
until he was up in the mortal world.
Yep.
I'd fail. I think.
Yeah, so they're basically not allowed, both of them are not allowed to look back. Like, Eurydice not to the underworld and Orpheus not to his wife. So,
Wow.
Yep. So it's a double challenge. And they get to the mortal realm. They start to see sunshine. Well, actually, technically, they're still on the staircase to
There's
the underworld.
still, yeah.
They're on the staircase. Orpheus goes, oh my gosh, sunlight, I see the mortal world. He turns back to look at Eurydice.
No!
Because he thinks he's safe. He is not safe.
No!
She disappears.
That's terrible.
And she
He
goes
was
back to the
so
underworld.
close.
Mhm.
That was his only chance, wasn't it?
Yep, it was his only chance.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that sucks.
Yep, I know. It's such a sad story, but it's low-key kind of inspiring, I guess. I want to learn to play peppy music and go down to the underworld and like give Cerberus belly rubs. I think that's going to be one of my new personal goals. Bucket list. I'm going to put on my bucket list. So, yeah.
That's a great bucket list, Jake.
We're going to take a quick song break with Talk by Hosier. Welcome back, everybody. That was Talk by Hosier. So now we're going to be moving on to a myth that we kind of covered on last week's with
Ashley,
Ashley. Yes,
with her
thank you.
histories and mysteries.
Right. We
Yeah.
talked for I think 5 whole minutes about. Oh my! I just hit my mic. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Too many hand gestures. So we were talking about the Minotaur and the Labyrinth, and we got to talk about it for a couple of good minutes.
Yeah.
But I wanted to focus on the Labyrinth itself instead of like Theseus and the Minotaur.
Yeah.
So, and I did some research and I found out the ball of yarn is completely reversed in the Percy Jackson universe. I was right, of course. And I was looking into it, and so the Labyrinth, what's really interesting about it is
I love that myth.
yes,
It's so cool.
It's so good. It's so good because it A combines a hero story with B a love story and C a very sad story about a monster. The pity
Yeah.
for the monster stories kind of get me sometimes. So basically, the Labyrinth is this big magical structure that shifts around constantly. So you're never going to be able to exit the way you came in unless you have Ariadne's string,
Yes.
which we'll get to her. She has a very sad story. Actually, she has a happy story, then a sad story, then a happy story.
Yeah. It's like
So it makes a little swoof. You know what I'm saying?
sure. I've never heard someone say that.
It starts up, goes down, goes up. That
Yeah.
sounds like a swoof.
A
to
roller
me.
coaster.
Yes, it's a
if you
thank
will.
you. There we go. That's
a
a
roller
much
coaster,
better
if you will.
descriptor than a swoof. Yeah. So the Minotaur. No.
What?
The Labyrinth was made by the inventor Daedalus.
Which
For those
I
of you,
also love him.
yes,
too.
we love Daedalus.
He's pretty cool.
Actually, spoilers really quick. I'm reading the 4th book. Does Quintus end up being Daedalus? Is that in the 4th book? Is that?
Oh my god. Is it?
I don't.
Wait.
I don't remember. Because I
That-
vaguely remember something about that, but I could be completely off. Never
I
mind.
don't remember.
Um,
Tell me when you finish reading it.
I will.
'Cause I
I'll
don't
skip to the
remember.
end of book right now. No.
I think maybe, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So, yeah.
Asher, do
sorry,
you know the
I'm
answer
sorry.
to that question?
Asher, you know in the Percy Jackson books, do you know if Quintus turns out to be Daedalus?
Wait,
I remember.
Remember, it's been so long since I've read the 4th book.
Not a true fan. That's.
I
nuts.
think I
Uh,
actually.
well, I'm reading the book at
I-
least.
Yes.
I'm. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
You said it
Because-
again,
because-
and I got flashbacks to reading the book.
And
I'm
it's
pretty sure.
More spoiler alerts here. That triggered something in my brain because his life force is tied with the labyrinths because he made a deal with Gaia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
You never read the 4th book, did you? Okay. Then why do they need to
Just
control
like how
the
you
labyrinth?
watched Sing.
Okay, then why do they need to control the labyrinth, Asher?
Yeah. Why do they?
Man, I've read them.
Oh, it's been so long. I read them in 6th grade. Yes, so did I, but I still remember it.
Didn't you just reread it?
Well, yeah, but I knew the basic plot of the book going into it.
Good question. I've read them, plus I've read
It's the whole plot of the book. How do you forget the plot
It's
of the
literally
book?
the whole entire book, Asher.
The book is why do the Half-Bloods need to enter the labyrinth in the Battle of the Labyrinth? Oh yeah, he doesn't know. When you think about when you find the answer for it, he won't. Let us know. So back to the labyrinth. It was made to keep the Minotaur in there. We don't
Yeah.
care about the Minotaur today. We're focusing on Daedalus. For those of you who play D&D, a wonderful comparison that I've just thought of is think of Daedalus as an artificer. He literally could do anything. Like he could make a magical item out of like a ball of metal, which is coincidentally what he does in the Percy Jackson books. Wow,
Yeah.
we should probably stop referencing those.
But they're good.
You know, that's fair. They are pretty good. What did you say, Jennings?
Oh, you just. Oh no!
Did you just say the
started
movie
something that
is
you should
bad?
not have
No,
started?
he's doing that to rile me up intentionally.
Oh no!
I think wait, Are we gonna watch those sometime and have a
We're
little
gonna have
discussion?
to.
We are.
need
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Maggie are gonna have a wombo combo episode, I believe, on her show or my show. It
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
It can
but
be either one.
yeah, we're gonna
We'll
have a
let you
wombo
know.
combo here. Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about the books versus the movies versus the show and
What's her name?
The show was
what's
good and the
the
movies were
female?
Annabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the books, wasn't she like 8 or 9 or something like
No,
that?
She was 9 when she got to camp.
She was 9 when she got to camp, but by the time Percy was there,
Oh yeah, all the actors are
They're-
aged up
they're
to like
aged
almost adults. They're like 16 and 17, like at least.
they're all aged up.
but
But
Good movie.
Percy.
It was well done. It just wasn't that accurate.
Okay, here's the thing.
Fine.
that,
what
it
ruined-
wasn't accurate
Okay,
to the
here-
books.
here's the issue with that though. The only people that are going to be watching that movie, the majority, are the people who are coming from the books looking for the accuracy. So that's when it fails.
I mean,
Yeah. See, but before I read the books, I watched the movies because my dad loved them. He doesn't like to read.
Well, okay.
Yes, because believe it or not, there was a time where I hated reading.
Joking, I don't care.
Anyways, all right, back to where we were going.
Yes. So
The labyrinth.
Daedalus, love the guy. He made so many cool
Yeah,
inventions.
he's so cool.
He is. He could do like basically anything. He's an artificer from D&D, like unironically. And yeah, he made the labyrinth because he was under threat from King Minos. He was like, "Yo, yo, yo, fam, build me that." Sorry, build
That's
me.
gonna be Jake's thing.
I'm gonna be modernizing all these stories with yo, yo, yo. He goes to Daedalus is like, "Yo, you're a cool, smart dude. Build me a labyrinth for my like bull son." And he's like, "Okay," and he does it. And then Minos traps him in there in the heart of the labyrinth,
Yeah.
where he stays with his son Icarus. Which, yes, Asher, we're getting to the myth about Icarus. We know you really like it.
to find Daedalus
What?
in the 4th book. Just answering your question.
You looked it up. You 100% looked it up.
You
I didn't.
I don't believe you.
No.
Actually, that's the subplot. Do you know what the... What, I asked why they went into the labyrinth. What was the main plot of it? Yeah, Jennings said he looked it up. I believe him.
Why are
I-
you on your phone right now?
Yeah, why are you on your phone?
Why'd you just get on your phone?
Because you're gonna... Exactly. See? He did it once. He'll do it again.
You were just caught red-handed, bro.
He said not again the first time. He just admitted to it. Asher, you just admitted to looking it up. Okay.
Quest inside the labyrinth to find Daedalus, who is supposedly still alive.
But why are they finding Daedalus? What's the overarching plot is what I was asking. It's because Luke is invading the camp through Zeus's fist. Yep. Anyways, I was right. Asher was wrong. Asher, you were not right.
Anyways, he made
Yes.
the labyrinth so that Minos could have his child.
Child bull
Bull
in
in
there.
there, and
his,
he
well,
was-
it's not technically his son, but it's his wife's son. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's stuck with his son in the heart of the labyrinth.
Right. Yeah. Daedalus is with Icarus
Which
in
is
his workshop
where-
in the center of the labyrinth.
Yeah, which is where Percy and his little crew is trying to get to.
Right. And yeah, so they're basically Theseus arrives. He's a hero we also talked about last week. He's the one that slays the Minotaur with his own horn, which also something Percy does.
Yes.
Which is I don't know, Percy's kind of really cool because he does that when he's 12 and Theseus was like 20 something probably.
Without like even like
He had no armor, nothing.
yeah.
Bro doesn't even get murdered, which was crazy.
Bro didn't even know what he was doing.
He
Let's
didn't
be
even know
honest.
what he was doing. And then his brain just goes, "Oh, it's demigun time," and just rips off the horn and stabs the Minotaur.
Hey, I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah. And yeah, so let's talk about Icarus for a second because I know Asher is going to get mad if we don't get to this and we're running out of time. So here you go, Asher. Icarus is the son of Daedalus. Daedalus being the smart guy that he is. He goes, "Hey, you know how the sun is hot and wax melts in the sun and like birds have feathers?" He goes, "Let's put all of those things that are not conducive to being wings for flying and make them wings for flying." What are you going to say, Asher?
Many options there. They were stuck in a labyrinth.
He made a magical labyrinth, Asher. I'm sure he had options.
Labyrinth. What are they supposed to do?
He can request things from Minos. Minos wasn't like...
No, he couldn't.
Yeah, okay. There are numerous examples of him building things that were
If he
materials
asked for,
from...
"Give me stuff for wings so I can fly out of here."
No.
No. He never has to specify what his experiments are, Asher.
Don't fly too close to the sun. Bro made it out. So no, go ahead.
For those of you who are listening, I'm giving Asher the shush finger right now. Minos would give him whatever materials he needed. He didn't need a reason. He didn't have to say, oh yeah, I'm building a nuclear bomb. I need uranium. He'd just go, hey, I need uranium. And Minos goes, okay, here's uranium. See what I'm talking about? Canonically, Daedalus did not build a nuclear bomb.
Anyways.
Yeah, so he goes to Icarus and he's like, my son, we must escape. And so he takes wax and feathers and slaps them on, like, they literally just make wings out of those. How that actually works, I don't know. Maybe they hadn't been fed in a while and they were literally just like, I don't know, so frail they can fly. Asher probably knows. How did they fly, Asher, with wax and feathers?
Wait, what? Do you want me to give you the physics behind wax?
Yeah, I want the physics behind it.
Let me give you the physics of how to build the whole maze.
Magic. The wings weren't magic. The wings were. Actually, the wings weren't magic. If they were magic, they wouldn't have melted in the sun.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So basically, he tells his son, "Hey, don't fly too close to the sun. I think in general you shouldn't be out. You should have escaped during the night because like the sun would melt them at
Yeah, for
whatever
real.
angle. Like
Why
for
didn't-
real.
For real.
For real. Wait till the nighttime, and then you won't get spotted and like shot
Yeah,
down by
you have
Minos's guards.
the cover of night. So it's
And-
like
yeah, exactly.
you don't risk getting melted by the sun.
I know, right?
What? What do you have to say, Asher?
What do you have to say?
What?
do you have to say, Asher?
I don't know. Why?
Yeah, he doesn't know.
It's dangerous to have Asher in the room when there's a show going on with
he's
me
just
and
gonna
Jake.
spout nonsense. Like, who's the main character in Sing, Asher?
Who's the main character in Percy Jackson, Asher? Anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't know it's Buster Moon.
And Buster Moon.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow.
And he got sing right.
Congratulations.
I'm proud of you. Not really, but
Wait a minute. In that order?
Yes, the correct answer is yes, Asher, is in that order.
In what order?
The order that you settled.
The main character of Sing is Percy Jackson.
In that order. Yeah.
Think about how different Percy Jackson would be with Buster Moon.
A talking, walking koala? Yeah, probably.
Or you would actually watch the movie then?
I'd watch the movie. Yeah.
there'd be a
He admits to not watching
there
it.
would be a theater camp instead of a demigod camp.
Yes. So, anyways, back on topic before we have to close the show out. And thank you, Jennings, for giving me an hour today. Thank you to Shy and Olivia for not being here, so I can have an hour today. And yeah, so Icarus has these wax wings. He goes, I'm the best. I'm literally the greatest. And the sun can't bring me down. And then the sun brings him down by melting his wax wings. He goes straight
Literally.
into the ocean. You can imagine what happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyways, it's a depressing story, but also it's a warning about not wearing wax wings and getting close to the sun.
It's a warning, yeah.
Right? That's what it's about.
Don't do it.
Don't
And if you're
do
gonna,
it.
wait till nightfall.
That's the message behind it. No, it's not about being obedient to your parents or like your elders know best. No, it's don't have wax wings and fly close to the sun. That's what it is. So, anyways, we're gonna close this show out. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to Maggie and thank you to Asher for whatever reason he's here.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah,
it was a
whatever
fun
Asher
time.
did.
And I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick my next mystery guest.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Ashley. She knows things.
She does.
She
She
knows
would
about
love
the
to be on your
mysteries and the
show.
histories. Actually,
Yeah.
sorry, she knows about the histories and the mysteries. Sorry.
Mysteries of this-
Heresy. I apologize. So we're gonna close out the show by Icarus. Thank you, Asher. You do know things.